Hello! Welcome to the last vlog of 2015. Warning, they're gonna happen again. Haha. It's Christmas. I'm bored as hell. So, I thought that today would be a really cool day to do something a little different. Somebody asked me to do it too, so I thought it'd be kind of neat. This is sort of a D&D thing. Because, I mean, let's face it, Christmas videos, year in review videos, little overdone, in my opinion. So, why not do a D&D video? People are going to be getting into the game, and they want to know, they will want tips on how to play. Now, I'm going beyond, character creation and stuff like that, because character creation always varies from DM to DM. Some like to use point buy, some like to roll dice, some are very anal about backgrounds, others are not, and so on and so forth. So, I'm actually going to be doing more along the role-playing and the being a player aspect of a game. Okay, so I don't have these organized because this is coming straight from here. I don't have it typed out, so bear with me. First, always ask questions. It never hurts to ask questions. If you want to know if you can do a thing, or if you can do this thing, or will this work, ask. The worst thing that'll happen is the DM says no. The worst thing that'll happen is a player says no. Number two, always make sure to be a team player. It's a group game. It doesn't matter if you are in a group with 2 people, 4 people, 8 people. I hope you're never in a group with that many people. I've done it. It's bad. Remember that D&D is a group game. It is a group effort. Everybody's to play off of everybody. No one is to just be like the spotlight. 3, always make sure to be familiar with your character. If you're playing an elf rogue, always know how sneak attack works. If you're playing a wizard, always know about magic missile. I mean, the first couple times it's okay, but once you get the hang of it, make sure to keep notes on the character sheet on how they work. That's why the special abilities section of a character sheet is typically huge. And I mean really, really huge. Number 4, always be prepared. If you don't have the player's handbook, that's fine. Try to always have your character, a pencil, dice. It doesn't hurt to bum dice off of somebody first couple times, especially if you just started and you don't have any. But try to get a set. Like, a set of dice is really, really cheap for the most part. I mean, let me see here. A set of dice like this will probably set you back like $6. If you want fancy dice, they will set you back more. But I mean, plain blue ones like this, like $5.99. Or, if your local game store has like a big box of just like single dice, grab what you need and, go at it. Let me think. Another thing you should always do is always try to be on time. There's nothing a DM hates more than to have to either wait for you to show. If you're going to be late, call them. If you're not going to show up, or if you're not going to be able to show up, call them. But if the game starts at 5, and you're not there till like 7, for who knows what reason, that slows everything down, because that means that the other players have to catch you up to speed for 2 hours of what just happened. Or they'll have to wait, and that means less game time in the long run. My cat's on my comic book box. Anyway, Some really huge don'ts. And this goes more to more experienced players than to beginners, but, they still apply. Don't argue the rules. Nobody is perfect. I make mistakes. I just spent the last 2 fucking years thinking that undead and constructs in Pathfinder are immune to critical hits and sneak attack. Turns out they're not. That was the thing that I just kept thinking of from 3.5. If it happens, roll with it. After the session's over with, then talk to the DM. If if they want to keep what they said as their mistake as sort of like the rules, please let them do that. Don't be a solo player. And I don't mean along the lines of don't hog the spotlight, but that's another one too. Don't be the guy that always does things on your own. More than likely, it will get you killed. Believe me, it will get you killed. I used to play in a game where one of the players always did things on his own because he always thought that he was better than all the other players. It got his ass kicked on more than one occasion. Don't think of your character as just the numbers. Yeah, your character might have a 7 strength, but your character wouldn't know that his strength is 7. Your character would know that he's not that strong. He just wouldn't know the actual physical number on the dot or number on the character sheet. Your character doesn't have a plus 14 in Arcana. Your character just really, really good at identifying magical stuff. Another really big one is never, ever metagame. For those of you that don't know what that is, metagaming is using your knowledge as a player to affect what a character would do. This is another really, really good story. Well, not really, but a few years ago I was running a game, and I flat out told the party, in game of course, I didn't tell them as, the DM, spoiler alert. I told the party in game that they were going to fight a Rakshasa. Now, in 3.5, Rakshasa have damage reduction of, I think, 10, unless it's being done by a lawful and piercing weapon. So, it has to be a weapon that has the axiomatic property and also does piercing damage, so like a rapier or a crossbow or a dagger. A week later, one of the players showed up to the game and told everybody, buy blessed arrows. Straight up, buy blessed arrows. Which means I knew that he looked at the stats of the Rakshasa ahead of time and knew in his mind that that's what you should do. Little does he know that as soon as he did that, I immediately changed it. So instead of it being DR10 lawful and piercing, I changed it to him having DR5/dash, which means it doesn't matter what weapon you use, 5 points of damage is ignored. So never, ever, 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 ever metagame. And another big one is never, ever rules lawyer. There are those players that always have to be right. It doesn't matter what it's about. It's more annoying when you are the DM and you are constantly getting into arguments with people over rules. Another story, I ran the world's largest dungeon for about 7 months, and there was this one guy that played who was always arguing everything that I did. Right down to the smallest detail. The party came across a masterwork battle axe in the dungeon. And this guy's like, oh, so it's a +1 hit and damage, right? No. Masterwork means it's +1 to hit. If it was +1 hit and damage, it would be a +1 weapon. But my DM says that it's a +1 hit and damage. No. And I'm not that DM. A couple weeks later, they ran into another weapon that, flavorful-wise, it was like a long sword that was masterfully crafted by a dwarf. This guy, playing a dwarf, is like, oh, so since it was masterfully crafted by a dwarf, it should get like a +3 to hit when it's being used by dwarves. No. It just means that a dwarf made it. But my favorite one, and just a little backstory again, the world's largest dungeon specifically states in the book to not award encounter XP like you normally would. Otherwise, you get done the first floor and you'd be like 9th level. So, they get done 15, 16 rooms. They fought Lord knows how many dark mantles and how many Lord knows how many dark mantles and how many undead, and this guy's like, oh, so we should be getting like 17,000 XP. No. I said from the start that it's going to be based per room, not per encounter, so that way you're only level 3 by the time you get done the floor. I told these people this months in advance. He stopped playing not too long after that. And the big thing that you should never, ever, ever do as a player, it kind of goes along with the never venture off on your own, is never have the game spotlight on you. Again, it's a team effort. If your character wants to do, I have a cat in the room. If a character wants to do something really cool for the game, and it'll help all the players, awesome. If it's just going to benefit him and really mean nothing to everybody else, fuck him. Another story, I was in a Planescape game once, and one of the characters was a half-orc barbarian named Gibberish. Don't ask. And one session, he decided, I want a headband of intellect. He had the intelligence of a goat. Actually, he was a little smarter than a goat, but he didn't need a high intelligence because his character was all about smashing things. But we ended up spending 2/3 of an adventure, or 2/3 of the session, just getting a fucking headband of intellect for this guy. And pretty much every other plot device was completely ignored because of this guy. Yeah, unless the DM can think of a very good story reason why your character would, do this, don't do it. The headband of intellect is not necessary if you've got a party full of geniuses. The belt of giant strength is not necessary if you're not a fighter. The cloak of charisma is definitely not necessary unless you're a bard or sorcerer. So yeah, don't ever have the spotlight on you the whole damn time. But the one big thing is, barring everything else, just make sure to have fun. That it's what it is. It's a game. And if you're not having fun, it's no longer a game, it's a chore. That's it for now. I hope you have a great holiday, and I will see you in the new year. Take care. Peace.